program is.
Okay, so the Caldwell Fellows program is a servant leadership development program, and it uses networking and tools that are only accessible to the Caldwell Fellows program in order to develop servant leaders, regardless if it's on a big scale or a small scale. And more than that, it's a community that we can share and discuss servant leadership type things on a different level outside of how we discuss it in just like the general population at the college and in our courses. But it's really just a program more than a scholarship. Although it does offer the tuition, it's I went into it going in to get tuition money because I wasn't going to be able to afford my sophomore year, and anytime I tell people about the Caldwell Fellows program, I totally forget to mention the tuition all the time because it's so much more than that, than a scholarship, than an award given to you. It's an investment, and they'll give you the right tools, and what you do with it is up to you.
Gotcha. So then you said, was that your main reason for applying to the program?
At first was I was poor. I need some tuition money, and I told my advisor, and she said, well, your grades are pretty good, why don't you apply for this program? And coming from high school, I was a very troubled youth, I guess you could say. And so when I applied for the program the day before, like I wasn't going to, like I didn't think I would get it because it was so like, I figured there was this cookie cutter like mold that you had to fit to get scholarships, like the Parks and the Moorhead, like that's what I was used to. And then once, just on the interview day, I saw it was much more than that. It was a deeper, more like self-development thing, not what have you done, let me pat you on the back for it, but what do you want to do? What has been holding you back? What are your flaws that you need to work on? And what are you passionate about that you can affect in a positive way? So
why do you think they chose you to be a part of the program?
So when I first got into the program, I was sitting at the dinner, I remember, and I was just like, I was hearing stories about all the stuff that people have done, and I was like, I don't fit in. Like I don't think I should be here. And I struggled with that for a little while. It's like there were people who had like led the biggest food drives before coming into college, and I was like, what am I doing here? And it took a while to understand that there was no mold. Like regardless of seeing all the great things that people have done, it's not like that there are big expectations of you, but there wasn't a mold. So I don't know, I'm a very passionate person, and when I was interviewed, I remember telling my interviewers that I'm passionate about things, I just really haven't found that direction and what exactly I want to go into. But yeah, you know, if you ask me like what's my hobby and what's my passion, it's people. Like I genuinely enjoy being with other people and learning about other people and helping other people, even though like my resume doesn't say it. I want to do that, and I think also I was blessed with the ability to articulate that in a way that was appealing to the interviewers. But I don't know, I got lucky with the interviewers, I guess.
Well, how would you, so this kind of goes along with that same question, but how would you describe your other Caldwell Fellows?
So they are absolutely wonderful and so diverse. And coming into the program, there were some people that I saw and I decided I wouldn't click with. And that was people that I had made judgments about prior to coming into college and meeting all sorts of people. And that was like, it wasn't for bad reasons, but I had this idea that if you were, you know, this well put together white kid raised in the suburbia, that we probably weren't going to get along. And getting to know them, I realized that they were that it was very ignorant of me to think that, and they were so much deeper people than I had thought. But yeah, I think the reason that I enjoy my other fellows so much is because the environment that we're in and we're able to speak to other people is one with no boundaries, and you can talk on a such a pure and down to earth level and real level with the other people, and I don't know how they do it. The interview process is ridiculous on how many people read your interviews, and the people that interview are all Janice and Gerald Hawkins have worked very hard to get interviewers and applicant readers to be people who really grasp the idea of the Caldwell Fellows Scholarship, and I think that the process they have in order to choose the Caldwells, they find that those people somehow, it works. But there are some people, there are one or two in each class that, the program isn't very demanding. If you get what you put in, and I think with any data set, you're going to have, I don't want to say error, but some people who don't take advantage of that, but I think it's well compensated for with the other 24, 25 people.
Sure. Yeah. How do you think, so if you think about your college experience you had before you were a fellow and your college experience now, what is the difference, and how do you think you've changed?
Okay. So coming into college, like I said, I was I was a wild child, so I decided to live off campus my freshman year. I figured that if I wasn't around a bunch of young people who just got to college and just realized that their parents don't control them, it wasn't the best idea. So I didn't have a lot of friends coming into interview day, and it seemed like everybody knew somebody, and I didn't know anyone. So first of all, it gave me friends and network to people, and it set a bar for me to fulfill. And I think that my care for what people think of me and being included really helped with that. Is that being in a community where people were constantly building up and expecting things of you, not in a negative aspect either, or in a punishable aspect. It was just like a totally forward and positive demand from you, and it has opened so many doors for me as far as professionally, and given me some really awesome tools like the Center for Creative Leadership. That was just, we're one of the only universities that gets to go, and that experience, like sitting next to a room full of people who work for Exxon or some huge company, was life-changing. And the self-development that I have gotten from the program it almost feels selfish.
Interesting.
That's why I can't see you. But
she's back there. How do you feel like your experience differs from other students at NC State who aren't in the program?
I think that I'm in a completely different sub community. There's not many people that like my other friends who aren't in the program, and there are some, but there's not a lot of people that you can sit down and have a really deep intellectual conversation with nowadays in college. Like there are, you might see it more if you walk over to the Quad in the Honors Village, but it's just that's not really a realistic thing in college. I mean, it's supposed to be the best 4 years of your life. So I definitely I'm surrounded by an environment that affects me in a forward way. I think also I have exclusive opportunities being in the Caldwell Fellows program because it's made such an impact in Raleigh, that I have opportunities to work for programs that say, she's a Caldwell Fellow. I expect a lot out of her, and in that, I try and return that and know that I'm representing the Caldwell Fellows program, like the Open Door Clinic. From Urban Ministries, working there, it was an experience that I tried to share with my other friends, not in the Caldwell program, that said, come volunteer if you need clinical hours. It's a really good program, but going into the Open Door Clinic, expressing my assumptions before going, and then coming out and reflecting every day in class, and then continuing to volunteer and making it a habitual thing, continue to reflect on what I do and having the tools to do it in a positive manner.
Sure.
That was going to help me be the best servant leader. I think that's something that really differs between Caldwell Fellows and the rest of the university.
So we've heard this term thrown around a lot, servant leadership, and Janice let us borrow the book, but we kind of wanted to know, like, what does that mean to you?